Yeah. So, Namaste, Jai Shri Krishna to one and all, and very warm evening. We have like the tokri bharke in a Hindi bolte tokri bharke, the bunch of the different festivals celebration in this week, or we can say it from the Pratipada or Padwa, which was took place on 2 days before. We also celebrating Navratri the same time, Ramayan week. We had Gudi Padwa, we have a Cheti Chand, Baisakhi, Tamil Year, New Year, Hindi New Year, and so on. As I always said, this is the platform where we reach out to the Hindu community, bring the awareness in our community, and inform the people of various state and different in Hinduism, so many branches, all the people, how they celebrate all the festivals. Remember, even Navratri may celebrate in Gujarat with different way, with the same aspect of the reach out to or the connect to the Mataji, and maybe in north other states. It's different way celebrate, but end of the day, the goal or the main aim is to connect to Ma Shakti. Today we have Ashika Ben with us, and then many other guests. You will be surprised today because they are all coming from different state, and then some of youngsters, and then you have a bunch of the information. It's all very very important. Say you're going to India after this Corona goes away, and you are in Maharashtra or you are in Madhya Pradesh, or and you have this knowledge back of your mind. When you talk to those people there, they will be surprised. They said, okay, somebody coming from South Africa and they have such a vast knowledge. But anyway, I'm not taking long. My work was to opening prayer, and let we put hand together. During the Navratri, we pray to Ma Shakti. We pray to Mother Shakti to give us strength in this pandemic time. Om Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shaktirupena Samsita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha. Hey Ma Shakti, give us or grant the strength, and we all together blessed by you, Ma, and we overcome with this pandemic. Yashika Ben, hand over to you.
Namaste. Bahut dhanyavad, Panditji. Thank you very much for that beautiful opening remarks. And welcome today to a wonderful program, a program that celebrates the diversity of India as we know it, and also the various cultures that come together in this wonderful celebration of New Year. Now, we've learned in the last few days that each day was celebrated differently in the different parts of India. And we're going to learn a little bit more about that in a few minutes. But what is Hindu New Year? We know from times immemorial there is no start date to Hindu Dharma because it is said that Hinduism came with the world. So, why then do we have these different dates and what was the importance of it? Well, Vikram Samvat, also known as Vikram Samvat, is the historical Hindu calendar used in the Indian subcontinent and Nepal. And the traditional calendar used lunar months and the solar sidereal years in order to come through various types of calculations. So this month of Chaitra usually falls between March and April, and it marks the new year on the first month of the Hindu calendar. And it's celebrated by different names across the country. And people in Maharashtra celebrate it as Gudi Padwa, while Kashmiri Hindus observe it as Navre. In Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka, it's celebrated as Ugadi. And more importantly, today it is Nabo Bharsho in Bengal. And today is actually the new year in Bengal. So we want to welcome all our guests to this wonderful day and in celebration of New Year. And of course, it started on Tuesday. In South Africa, it takes on a little different toll. And we learn a little bit more about that with our guests and what happens in their homes. But first up, I would like to introduce the nature of what New Year is from the very wise words of Sadhguru. Technical, please play the video.
Namaskaram and wishes and blessings for the new year. As per the lunar calendar of India and also some parts of India using the lunisolar calendar, which is a complex mix of lunar and solar cycles. This 13th, 14th of April happens to be the new year. It's called Tamil Puttandu in Tamil Nadu, Ugadi in Karnataka, Andhra and Telangana. It's called Vishu in Kerala, Gudi Padwa in Maharashtra, Baisakhi in Punjab. For every one of you, my best wishes for this new year and may the best be with you. What is the significance of this new year? How many new years can you have in 1 year? Well, the new year that you celebrate as the 1st of January is made for convenience, just making numbers in such a way that's easy to count and remember. But the Indian calendar, or what used to be referred to as the Hindu calendar, is either lunar calendar, that is going by the cycles of the moon, or the solar calendar, which does not take just the cycles of the sun or relationship with the planet and sun, taking into account the impact of all the celestial objects which have significant impact on the planet. Accordingly, the calendar is made. For example, the Tamil calendar is made based on the cycles of the Jupiter and its relationship with planet Earth, and so it runs into cycles of 12 years, and in turn 60 years is considered as one full cycle, that is 5 cycles of the Jupiter. Tamil calendar has a cycle of 60 years, and each of the 60 years has a name, and we have just finished a year that we called as Sarvari, which means it is a year of fragrance. Unfortunately, this fragrance turned a little unpleasant with 2020, but now the year that we are stepping into is called Plava, which literally means wisdom. So we definitely need to step into this wisdom. Having faced what we have faced through the pandemic and the situations that everybody has gone through, many have lost their lives, time for wisdom definitely. Without wisdom, you cannot handle a situation like this. In knee-jerk reactions if we go, this pandemic will take a much bigger toll on us in every way, because WHO is predicting more people may die of suicide than of the pandemic as time goes on. So we need wisdom for sure. We must understand the significance of this Indian or Hindu calendar is that it is not just a number game of counting time, but it is about the human experience. It is taking subjective dimension of the human being as to what is happening, and that is how it is in this time, where from this 13th, 14th of April, next 21 days, the sun's energy will be having a maximum positive impact on the northern hemisphere, and that is the reason why the new year is here, because sun or the solar energy being the basic form of energy, maximum impact and benefit will happen at this time. This is also at the time of Uttarayana, so it is a time of resurgence, time of blossoming. In tropical countries, this is also time maximum flowers are there in the trees and plants. So this is the new year. In various states, it's called by various names. Essentially, this is about following either lunar calendar and adjusting to the solar calendar, or following a more complex lunisolar calendar, and I would say that is far more accurate, and it takes more aspects of our life into consideration, because both the lunar cycles and the solar cycles are taken into consideration. Having said all this, once again, it's my wish and my blessing, you must have a great year, stepping into the year of wisdom. Let us earn some wisdom so that we can handle these challenging times gracefully.
That was wonderful. And I think it gives us a little bit more depth and insight into the changing nature of the environment and also the planetary aspects, because that has an impact in the seasons. And of course, it has an impact in the weather, and more importantly, in terms of harvest and crops. So when we look at New Year, slide one, please, Tech. It is a time of new beginnings. It's a time of hope. And most importantly, it's a time of healing and gratitude. And today we have many guests that come from various professions in life that is going to share a little bit more about what New Year means to us in the various communities. So if you go to, as we say, is Hindu Navash, which is the year of 2078 in the calendar, but it also differs if you take it in Kashmir or if you take it in different parts of India. And it was also during the time of the rulers in India where the calendars were decided upon. And the reason why that happened is the communities felt that it was important to mark historic milestones. The same was true with Bengal, as we've mentioned earlier. Today is Bengali New Year. And that was very unique because it combined both the lunar and the solar calendars of the Mughal and the Hindu, terrain as well. If you go to the next slide, there it is. It's a beautiful image that Anita Ben has shared with us from Kenya. She's one of our guests, and we'll introduce her a little bit more later. But what it shows is that during this period, from Tuesday onwards, we've celebrated Navre, which is in Kashmir. And more importantly, it's so significant because for the first time, the Kashmiri Pandits is able to celebrate this particular festival with relief, after much difficulty and challenges. It's Baisakhi in Punjab, it's Bihu in Assam, it's Nababharsh in Bengal, and it's Sajibhu Nongma in Manipur, if I can pronounce it. And we've got Maharashtra, Karnataka, Konkan, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, and Kerala. Let's go to the next slide. So all these will be discussed as we go along because these form part of the hallmark of the milestone of our cultural heritage. Next slide, please. So as we've seen in the different parts of India, there are different foods that are offered to the deities. If you go, for example, there's Vishu in Kerala, it's in dedication to Lord Krishna. And we learn a little bit more about why that becomes very symbolic during this time. Panditji earlier mentioned that during this particular period, because it honors Mother Earth and the environment, we have to pay obeisance to the divine principle of the Divine Mother. So Chaitra Navaratri becomes very important around this time. And you can see some of the very special foods that are prepared in Andhra Pradesh, in Karnataka. It's also the same in the Punjab, in Kerala, as well as in the north of India. And what is important is that for tourists and for foreigners who come to India, it's the texture of the land that gives rise to the grains. It's also this particular grains that Hindus offer unto the Lord and to the deities because it is a time of celebrating New Year. And Kashmiri New Year is also particularly important. Next slide. And why? A lot of people didn't understand the Hindu community that existed in that region for a very long time. And the recitation or the resuscitation of our festivals becomes so important when we honor the divine principle. And in Kashmir, they honor goddess Sharika during this time because they offer silver coins, salt, cooked rice, wheat cakes because it's found in the region, as well as bread during this particular period. Families gather together and then they uncover the thali in the next day, not at the same time. They also offer walnuts as a symbol of thanksgiving when they offer it into the water. So it's a continuous flow of energy that goes into the harvest at this point in time. Ghee is offered as well as turmeric rice. And it is to offer thanks to the goddess for the harvest that has come in. And remember, during the northern times, it was snowing. So after the snow periods come the beautiful land that then brings about our harvest. Next slide, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. So we've seen and heard a little bit about Kashmir and about how these little condiments celebrate the Divine Mother principle, but at the same time, it gives thanks to a much, to the divine entity for allowing us this space to celebrate nature. So I would like to go to our first guest today to learn a little bit more about Maharashtra, and that is Mayur Akole. Mayur ji, namaste. Welcome to the program. Mayur has been involved in Ayurveda. He's in Ayurveda products. He's also an IT specialist, but he comes and he wants to share a little bit more about Maharashtra, because in Maharashtra itself, it's also a space where the world actually comes together. If one travels to Mumbai in India, it's the economic hub of India, and it brings to the fore people from the states of Gujarat, Kerala, etc., that come into this wonderful space of mass celebration. And Mumbai itself is a city of about 38 million people, if I'm not wrong. So Mayurji, welcome to the program.
Namaste to everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity, and it is really an honor to celebrate and show or showcase, share our cultural values, what we believe, and how this Gudi Padwa is celebrated. We, as Guru Sadhguru and you have mentioned it, we call it as Gudi Padwa. This is actually the beginning, as per our lunar calendar. It's a beginning and new day. That is the first day of Chaitra, what we call it, and is again celebrated as New Year. That is 13th of March. Okay, this Gudi Padwa basically is again as harvesting is done. So this is basically to celebrate and give a new energy to everyone who is involved in this year-long year-long hard work. There are multiple different ways we celebrate. We have different ways to celebrate in Maharashtra, small villages, in Konkan, in Goa. You have the guests as well who will explain how these things are done. But at the same time, this is basically to give our people positive energy that have come after a long and hard work that has gone into. So
what are some of the traditions that we see during this time? And would you like us to go to the slides?
Yes, please.
All right,
I would like to go
one.
to, yes, slide one. Actually, we are just showing you how the celebration is happening all around and how people are wishing each other for that matter. So over here, I'm just going to recite in Marathi. Maharashtrian language is Marathi. Gudi Padwa ubharuya आनंदाची समृद्धीची आरोग्याची समाधानाची आणि उत्तुंग यशाची नववर्षाची शुभकामना. The meaning of this basically is we are wishing you and your friends that this coming new year should be full of prosperity and health, with all the dreams that you have come across or taken care of, worked hard for. They should come. You should reach and meet those goals, and this new year will be very much beneficial for you. This is the basic prayer which we generally wish everybody, each other, and we believe in wishing. By wishing these kind of wishes, we are praying the Mother Earth, universe, and Lord Brahma that whatever negative energy have been empowering us should go away, and it should be full of the new dreams and energy. That's what we generally play. And if you see, there are people celebrate it by putting rangoli. If you can see this rangoli showing the happiness, and everybody is full of energy this time. So slide number 2, if you can see, I will be able to show you how people are enthusiastic, and they put this goodie, the stick with a kamandalu, and the sari with neem patta. So neem patta is kadunim. That is again purifying your blood, which is very important. So every day when you wake up, before eating anything, you have to eat a small chutney of neem, that karuneem, which again refreshes your body, and it is beneficial throughout for all your body parts.
Isn't it very bitter?
It is very bitter, but again, it is very healthy. That's what the importance. And in Ayurveda, it is said that neem, if you are able to have neem in your daily life, you will be kept away from any disease, any dangerous diseases that you can imagine of. So that is the importance of this neem. But not everywhere you will be able to find this. Also, you can find in only in India. But now with the weather and conditions, you are able to plant it in your house. But every house should have this neem kaduneem. Slide number 3, you can see there are a lot of with this stick, what we are putting across. There is a specific significance to this goodie, what we put across in our house, and we pray for it. So this goodie will have sweets, flowers, the saris, the stick, which is again significance of the strength, and the supari, that is again giving you a benefits of Ayurvedic spices and plants. So it is made up of that. Turmeric is also given, because again that is also blood purifier and immune booster. And then there it is holded by a small slit, which is again significance of the strength and stability. So that's how this goodie is prepared. With this, you are preparing. Yashika ji have clearly shown how different variety of food and sweets are prepared, because again each and every fruit or dish is signifying a different body part, and it gives strength to each and every part of the body.
That's so interesting that Hinduism is able to choose one festival, like a new year, to celebrate a new you from head to toe.
Absolutely. That's so significant.
Yes, and very scientific as well. And I think we'd like to talk about that also, with the other guests as we go along. Yeah. But you have some more important wisdom to share, I believe, in the next slide.
Yes, it's actually just showing you how this is celebrated, and it's just more on a pictorial, because we are praying to each and every part, or each and every thing that comes to and helps the humanity. So if you see this, you can see the goodie is there, Ganesha is there, temple is there, flag is there, cow is there, and how everybody is involved. That is shown over here. And lastly, on last slide, I would like to just make a small prayer for everyone. On this auspicious day of Gudi Padwa, may you be endowed with happiness, prosperity, and success. Happy Gudi Padwa to you all. Thank you very much.
That's beautiful. Bahut dhanyavad, Mayunchu. Thank you so much. I'm now moving to Anita Ben, and Anita G. Kambalkar is from Kenya. And she's here joining us live tonight. She's also the coordinator of the Hindu Council of Kenya. She's also involved with Hindu business. She's involved at so many levels, aside from being a sevika and serving the Hindu society. She's a well-known entrepreneur in that part of the region. And we're so happy and blessed to have her with us today. So she's going to share a little bit more on Maharashtra as well as on Goa. So we're taking you on a trip tonight and visiting different regions and touching and tasting virtually, of course, some of the wonderful foods and cultures that are within the Hindu fold. So, Anita Ben, can you share a little bit more about the Gudi? Because I know Mayurji just explained that, and symbolically it looks at the self, the healing of the self. Do you feel that when we look at our festivals that that are full of celebration and full of ingredients when we use our cooking, that it's basically thanking Mother Nature because we are also part of the whole and we're not separate from nature? Maybe perhaps share a little bit more on that. Anita Ben, you're muted.
Thank you very much, Yashika ji. I'm Anita Karambalkar, a clinical psychologist by profession. Taking this entire festival from the profession that I come from, what more symbolizes is Goa in the Devanagari lipi is called as Gomantak. And we are a baby of Maharashtra. There was a time when Maharashtra, Goa was one state. We've got our liberation, and after that we took statehood. And that's how today Goa has this thing. But there's a lot of similarity that we share with the Maharashtrian culture. Because Peshwas, Marathas have been a part of our Gomantak territory for a very long, long time. So coming to the word Gudi Padwa, the word has the two words, Gudi and Padwa. Gudi basically is the symbolization of the Gudi, which we've just seen, the bamboo stick with the kalash on top, with mango leaves, which is compulsory. You have to put mango leaves, you have to put kadulimbu leaves, that is neem leaves. Then there's batasha, there's this sugar candy, where sugar is melted, and those batasha sticks, so there's sweetness, right? Again, the garland that is there is basically marigold, because that is the flower now for the season. So we normally have marigold flowers put for it, and with the either a silk sari or a saffron color. So during my grandfather's days, it was basically saffron. He was very, very strict. It had to be saffron. Now it, people have different colors put to it. Now, if
what
you
is
see
the meaning of saffron? Why do we have to use the saffron color?
It basically symbolizes, actually, in Maharashtra, the Maratha culture. Whenever we used to go for war, anything, our flag was the saffron flag. So basically, the entire Gudi stands for victory. So there are so many things that are attached to this one single festival. It talks about the Bhagwan Ramji's coronation ceremony. So it is a celebration that day he had become the king. That was after the 14 years of exile. So it symbolizes that particular festival. At the same time, it is the harvest time for Rabi crop. Like in Goa, now rice is harvested. It is, as rightly mentioned by my colleague, rice, when after this long wait, the harvest is done. So I would give you the village type of environment celebration that happens in Goa. It starts with the coloring of the cow. The nice patches of beautiful colors put. If I could have the slide of the cow
Yes,
patches.
Please keep the slide on standby.
Yeah.
So we can see the cow.
Right. So there are different colors that are put. Then it starts with smearing of the cow dung to the courtyard where there is tulsi. So welcoming. This is the previous day celebration. And just a day before that, we also have something called as Shigmo, which is a type of Holi, wherein there's a lot of color and celebration that is done. So this is the part where we are talking about, this is the cow with different colors. This is also a part of the Diwali celebration, but now during this, we call it Sansar Padwa. The Gudi Padwa is called as Sansar. Sansar is the time when the earth, the universe had started. It is also said that the day when Brahmaji had started the universe. So that's how it symbolizes. Then it starts with the smearing of your courtyard the day before. And then the next morning, I still, there's goosebumps on this thing when I recollect. The day starts with mom coming, with her head bath, and then she has muslin cloth announcing that the festive season is on. And then it's like you're not allowed out of the bed and straight to the washroom. Because you cannot dirty the kitchen now. The kitchen is clean. So it starts with, we taking bath with oil. And then the moment we are out, which starts with the goody being put. During my grandfather's time, there is this thing called as the shai. Once the goody was put, he used to blow one big trumpet blow of the Chennai, announcing, the victory is ours. The new year has started. They're saying bye to the old. Yeah, bye to
That's
the old and
beautiful.
welcoming the new. And with that, the goody is taken on top, wherein the orange color flag starts fluttering in front of your door with all rangolis put in front. After that starts the God's Puja, where the Devghar is, decorated with beautiful flowers. And then is the Akadulimbu. I need the name. Now, this was a bit, I still remember my childhood days when mom used to come with the first tirtha. After the puja was done, she used to give us tirtha. Unlike the other tirth, which was taken in the hand, this was served in the bowl. And it had Kadulimbu leaves, it had those Kadulimbu flowers, it had kacha mango in it had jaggery in it, and it had a little bit of chili, green chili in it. So you can see it was all the taste in it. There's this bitter. And then when they say no, that we don't want to have this, mom used to say, this Kadulimbu will keep you healthy the whole year. So if you want to remain healthy, then you need to have it. And when you used to take the sip, the entire taste, the khatta, the meetha, the tikha, the sweet, believe me, it tells you the entire, the year that comes ahead before you. It has different taste in it. And we need to embrace it with the same vigor and this thing, excitement, as you're looking for for the sweets to come ahead. From there, we used to go.
Absolutely beautiful. I think the 7 tastes that you mentioned, and it's particularly important in Ayurveda to balance these tastes, because that's what the body is aligned to. And if you have one more than the other, then it affects the doshas as well. And now these festivals show you how they are in balance. So that's how we need to live our lives. I think that's really beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Now with this, then starts the food. The food part is, is very, very important. The Shrikhand and the Puri. And Puran Poli is another important dish. In Goa, we also add it with sweet potato, because this time sweet potatoes are harvested. And there is sweet potato with coconut milk. There is sweet potato kheer that is made. So that is again a part of the traditional dish which has to be there, along with the other food, the different flavor to it. With this, definitely the poem and the excitement and the kids' new clothes and the cleaning of the house and all that stuff, which is also there. Other than this, what I would also like to add to the Goan touch for Gudi Padwa is, during this time, the ladies, they in their traditional Nawari sari they wear, and there is this traditional nose ring that they wear, and they're beautifully decked. We have nice hair makeup also that is there for the bun, and then they go to the temple, and in the temple then the puja is offered. So it's the time for the women to really show that yes, we are the ones, the most beautiful ones. So there's a lot of touch to these festival seasons, and believe me, I'm missing Goa like anything.
I can imagine. And you're in Kenya at the moment. So have you adopted and adapted these festivals? And was it easy, or did you make quite a lot of adjustments?
Not much, because we have a Maharashtra Mandal out here. So we are a part of the Maharashtra Mandal. The Goan Hindu communities, you can have hardly 5 or 6 people, 6 families. So we don't have a association of our own. But yes, we are a part of Maharashtra. In the Mandal, because of COVID, people were not around. Otherwise, the Gudi was this thing put before the office, and just 5 members had done the puja. Otherwise, there is food. We also have something called as the fugadi that we put, with different things. The traditional dance, you can say. So a lot of fun that goes on in the Maharashtra Mandal during this time.
How beautiful. And, it's not easy because of COVID for people to meet, but at least we can reflect upon these wonderful festivals and even still celebrate them with our own families wherever we are. Thank you so much, Anita ji. I think that was really amazing. I'll come back to you on a very important question on your message to the next generation. And we're seeing some next generation in studio today. So my next guest is Rahul Baijnath. Rahul ji is an actor. He's acted in quite a few films in South Africa. He's in advertising. and he is a member of the Hindu Swayamsevak Sangh in South Africa. So namaskar and welcome to the program today, Rahulji.
Namaskar, how are you all? It's so good to be here. Thank you very much. And happy Hindu New Year to everyone. Wow.
Happy Hindu New Year.
There's so many people celebrating this festival of refreshing news. And it's beautiful to learn all about it. Thank you for having me.
That's amazing. So today you're going to share with us a little bit about the meaning of the Hindi New Year and how we've adapted in South Africa. Perhaps you can share with us, what the meaning is and why we need to celebrate the New Year.
All right. So, having many celebrations in the year, we've never really celebrated Hindi New Year as families and friends for many years in South Africa. But as of recent, we've adopted the nature and the culture, as of recent being the coming out of the virus, we've adopted this culture of something that's new coming out. This escapism and this blossoming of something apart from what has been the past. So we're saying letting go and moving forward and experiencing a new year. But it happened to fall in this pandemic, closing off in this pandemic in South Africa. And we're quite blessed to now celebrate it as families and understand the importance of it as a new year.
Absolutely. And so what are some of and because South African communities have not always celebrated the North or the Hindi New Year as much as it is celebrated in the South or even in Andhra Pradesh, but there are some sweets that are quite typical of the Hindi-speaking community in South Africa. Can you share with us, what are they and why is it auspicious to have sweet to mark the beginning of the year?
So, they always say that something sweet in your mouth changes your perception of going forward. They say sweet in your mouth before you move forward. And being in the entertainment world, if you have something sweet, you actually feel better. And look, South Africa, we have a variety of sweet meats, and I've got two beautiful boys who are going to tell us what they are. So I'm going to get them onto the program very quickly. Bhim and Nakul, please come forward. We've got a beautiful tray.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's wonderful. Okay. Oh, this is the next generation. Namaste. Welcome to the show.
Happy Hindi New Year.
Happy Hindi New Year.
Happy Hindi New Year to you too. Is this the first time you're celebrating New Year? I think there's a bit of a technical glitch.
Beautiful plates of jalebis. What else do we have?
We have gulab jamun and we have laddu.
Laddu. So if you hear the accents, there's this beautiful change in accents over the generations. But we're going to ask these two to celebrate by feeding each other some jalebi and laddu at this part of the night, and they're going to enjoy this celebration here today. There we go. Have a lovely bite. And we are celebrating the new year, bringing in some sweetness in our lives. Say thank you to everybody here, and we wish you a happy new Hindi year.
That is absolutely beautiful. Happy New Year, little ones. And may you take this journey forward with Dadi, Manani, everybody, and Dad and Mom, and all the children of the neighborhood. That is so beautiful. Thank you, Rahulji. I think that was a lovely, sweet way to introduce Hindi New Year in South Africa. Do you think organizations like the HSS will take this up going forward in the country so that people can reflect on what New Year actually means and how we need to reflect upon Mother Nature?
Absolutely. I think going forward, highlighting this particular celebration makes you understand that this is a time for everyone as well as families to get together and not just celebrate what was happening in the past and all the religious events, but celebrating what has happened in the past year, understanding that it's a new start and our families will come together for that particular reason, not for anything specific on the religious side, but celebrating a new year on its own. So we've always highlighted a new year And I'd like Nishanji, who's with me, very quickly. He's also from the HSS. I'd like to introduce you to him very quickly. He's right here with us. And he would like to tell you a little bit about
Namaskar. Namaskar.
Namaste to all. So, just like how the new sunrise has its significance, that brings in renewed hope, brings in a new day. In spite of us being in South Africa, this Hindu New Year or Hindi New Year connects us to the mainstream of Bharat. And even though, we are part of this diaspora that has, migrated to various parts of the globe, this festival connects us back to the traditional or the cultural roots of Bharat. And, as South African youth, South African young adults, that inspires us. And, we've always been reminded of it in the HSS as, a new day, a new dawn, the saffron rising sun that brings inspiration, that brings hope. It's also a symbolism of sacrifice and freshness. And with that, that's how we would like to take it forward in our events within the HSS. So thank you very much from myself, and back to you, Yashika ji.
Thank you so much, Rahulji, Nishanji, and the little ones. You are the legends. You are living the legacy of Hindu Dharma in this country. So we'd like to see more of the activities celebrated all over the country. Perhaps it'll be good during the new year that Hindu homes will raise the saffron flag outside, even though it's COVID, but to mark a symbolic occasion. So perhaps let's look into something that's practical, but at the same time symbolic during this time of New Year.
It's beautiful to see all of the countries doing this together, all the different states doing it together, and we're going to implement all of that. So we're looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bahut dhanyavad. And now we move on to Andhra Pradesh. So I'm now going to call our dearest student. Is she here? Tamran. Tamran, are you here?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yes.
Namaskaram and welcome to the program.
Namaskaram, Yashi, and thank you so much for having me.
So Tamran is a social science graduate student from Rhodes University. She's also an entrepreneur and she's helping clients with digital media solutions. So that's amazing. And you're very passionate about the Telugu language. And together you're collaborating with millennials around the globe, particularly in Mauritius and Malaysia. And you started a group called Telugu Tali. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. Well pronounced.
I was taught by a young entrepreneur. All right. Well, thank you so much. It's so lovely to have young people and our young millennials in studio today, because it just shows the vibrancy and the vibrant nature of our festivals come together. So can you share with us why it's important to celebrate Ugadi?
I loved every single person, and I wish I could say, share whatever, each person from every other festival shared. But I especially echo Rahul's statement, where he said that Ugadi, Hindi New Year, wasn't something that was always celebrated. It's sort of now, that it's back on track. And when I spoke to somebody in South Africa, a very renowned elder here, he said to me, Tam, Ugadi wasn't a big thing a few years ago. It's only now a big thing because of social media. And I'm not here to cover up the truth and say, oh, my great-grandparents have been doing these things. Absolutely not. But what Rahul was saying as well is that we're actually shaping our own narrative, and it's extremely beautiful. So yeah, that is sort of where Ugadi came from. And now with the internet, I think it's just absolutely magical, for the lack of a better word, magical, to connect with so many other like-minded people. And there's so many red flags, not in the saffron way, not in the janta way. There's so many red flags around young people. It's ridiculous, when they look at us, they assume, uncultured, but people can go into my WhatsApp, my Instagram, my Facebook, and they would just find young people passionate about their culture. And I always say that I think all my great-grandparents' spirits fell onto me for propagating this language, because I come from 2 Telugu families. Both my parents are Telugu. But, it's just people think that young people are not involved. But I can tell you, like within the South Indian community, if you go to any temple, it's the young people that are there. There's more young people than older people. So I guess there's more people like under 30 than the other ranges. So I mean, it's a beautiful time to be alive.
Absolutely. And I think it's incredible that you can take the magic of our festivals forward. So in the Andhra community, and I know in South Africa, the Hindu community is the minority community divided into Tamil, Telugu, Gujarati, and Hindi. But in the Andhra community, there are specific foods and celebrations that are bound during this time. Can you share a little bit about what you prepare and why it's symbolic?
A lot of people, when you say to them, I'm Telugu, they reply, oh, is that the same thing as Tamil? So I say to them, is Gujarati the same thing as Hindi? So I know I always give back with a little bit sarcasm, but it does hit the spot. So a lot of the things that we do in our home is South Indian. So it will be Telugu and Tamil. And that speaks to a lot of people. But on Ugadi, the very specific thing, and I think all the other states have their own adaptation. And the Tamils call it Manga Pachadi, and we call it Ugadi Pachadi. And I'm not even going to give 2 seconds to guess, what is it made of. So it's made out of sugar. And of course, for obvious reasons, it represents a sweetness. Neem, as the doctor shared earlier on Ayurveda, it represents bitter and the sadness. The raw mango represents the surprises. The tamarind, not tamarind, the pandu or the puli, represents the unpleasant moments that we share in life. The green chilies represent our anger, and the salt represents the fear of the unknown. But and all of that mixed together is symbolic of life. But something that I've learned now, just from hearing the other panelists, is that everything that we do, it's not to make my neighbor better. It's not to make my cousin better. It's not to make my business partner better. It's to make myself better. And it's a time of saying, you know what, let's restart. When our Wi-Fi is not working, what do? We restart the modem. When the car is not working, you switch it off and you start it again. And definitely New Year is that time to start again. So, it's like, I'm not sure who stuck to the New Year's resolutions from the 1st of Jan. I didn't even make any this year. I'm not going to make any on Ugadi. But, it's that time to start again. And more importantly, it's that time to give gratitude. And that is what I love personally about Hinduism. It's that every single thing that we do is significant. Whether we're offering chuput, so we say pasapu in Telugu, it's manja, it's hardi. When we're offering that and when we do that for ourselves, and all of these things that we do for ourselves, when we are offering the fruit, when we're offering everything, it's all for our self journey. And I know that sounds selfish and egotistical, it's for the self, but the only person that we can control in this world is ourselves and our reaction. So that is what I take from this spiritual and cultural New Year.
Absolutely. And I think that's incredible for a young millennial to actually have that experience. And I think the beauty in terms of how you drew just the simple offering of food and why it's so important to have this combination of bitter, sweet, astringent, etc., because it is the makeup of life. And it's also the makeup of our mind as well. Because ultimately, when you meditate, you have to remove the thought or steer away from thought so that you have one pointed focus towards the divine. And I think these celebrations allow us this journey, to have this wonderful playfulness and gratitude to the divine principle, but ultimately to journey to become one with the divine. Do you think then that in Hinduism, that our philosophy is so broad that it encompasses in every element this fundamental principle of journeying from one space to ultimately to a space of transcendence? Do you think that is important?
I will say that, forgive me for I'm not extremely schooled and educated on our Sanatana Dharma, but my parents and grandparents and aunties and uncles and families and friends, have installed in us, the basic principles of Hinduism. And we are fortunate to have, we follow the Satya Sai organization, so we learn Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema, and Ahimsa, truth, peace, non-violence, love, righteousness. And I think that everything in Hinduism brings back, and many people feel like Hinduism is a complicated religion. But if you understand why we do certain things, then it doesn't become complicated anymore. But I think also what young people are doing now is we are challenging the status quo. And like I said, there's a lot of red flags around young people, a lot of red flags around myself in these controversial things that I'm saying. But if we take a minute and we understand exactly why we are doing what we are doing, then it becomes simple. If we understand that we are pouring water outside to offer to the sun, we are giving gratitude to the sun. But why are we giving gratitude to the sun? Is it just some random star in the sky? No. We learned Surya Namaskar, we learned all of those things. But without the sun, what is our life? And even something as simple as lighting a candle, it's lighting a candle, lighting a diya, lighting a camphor. We are illuminating the darkness. And, when I was in primary school, it wasn't the trending thing to be this very Hindu person. I was always called a couple names because I really enjoyed Hinduism, not because my parents forced it into me, but I just enjoyed it. I really did. And that was like, oh, Tamran, why are you doing this? Or Tamran, why are you doing that? But now that the internet is here, now that there's this thing about, chakras, for example, now everybody sit with your legs crossed. And I'm thinking, but I've been doing this at the temple for my grandparents have been doing it since their childhood, since their grandparents were kids. Now that there's the social media thing, it's now, okay, now we want to do meditation and everything. So now it's becoming cool to be Hindu. And I think that Hinduism is definitely rising because over the past week, it has been absolutely a treat to be on social media. It has been the best week of social media. It's been Ramadan, it's been Vaisakhi, it's been Puthandu, it's been Ugadi. It's been every single one of my Hindu friends celebrated something. And not just celebrated in like in a mediocre way. They all shared it with us, maybe not publicly, but they shared it to us on WhatsApp and they said, wow, we feel so much safer now on the internet sharing our culture. And had I not met my friends and when I went over in Mauritius and when I not met my friends in Malaysia, I had not met people online in South Africa, I wouldn't feel this way about sharing my culture. So I think we definitely all supporting each other. We are feeding off each other's energies to propagate Hinduism, but also on a personal level to develop ourselves and to grow ourselves. So I hope that answers your question.
It does. It's a long way, but I think it's important because you've just outlined very, very clearly and clinically the state in which Hindus have been immersed for a long time, and especially those who are living in the diaspora. Not many of us are first generation Hindu. We are fourth or fifth generation. So over a period of time, the language has, become, less and less. The pronunciation has changed, but there's this need and there's a sense of connection with our motherland, Bharat. And we're seeing that today with our sisters and brothers on the panel. Thank you so much for joining us and for sharing these wonderful wisdoms. And I think through people like you, and digital media, the perpetuation of our culture becomes critical. I always believe that technology is not outside of energy, it is part of the energy principle. So let's use it for good, and
Thank
let's
you so
raise
much.
awareness and consciousness as we go forward. I'd like now to
Thank
go
you so
to, thank you, to a different part of the country, and that is in Kerala. And Dr. Bindu Pillai, welcome to the program. Namaskar.
Namaste, namaskaram to everybody. And
thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me here. It was so exciting listening to all the speakers. Actually, I was getting so nostalgic. You know, the way we used to celebrate Vishu in India, in Kerala especially. It was so beautiful, especially with the family. And like I heard Tamrin, in South Africa, it is not celebrated so big as such, but we try to do whatever we can do at home. Some of the things are not available, but we still try to do. And like all the speakers said, Vishu actually is the New Year, Hindu calendar, you know, the New Year as per the Hindu calendar. I'd like to say the Hindu calendar because no matter where in India you are, you speak Tamil or Malayalam or Punjabi, Baisakhi, whatever, we have different names, but New Year is the same. So in Kerala, it is Vishu, and the word Vishu actually came from the combination of Sanskrit and Malayalam, Visuam, that means equal. So it was a celebration of the spring equinox, and in Kerala we'll say the Meda Masam, that is when the Vishu and celebrated on the 14th of April every year. And the reasons behind celebrating Vishu, like everybody said, is the same. It is showing gratitude to the God and the universe, thanking the God and the universe for giving us all the things. But in Kerala, we also have another beautiful aspect which I would like to share here. And I will also tell you the practices we have. Celebration more or less is the same everywhere. But Kerala has a few unique things, I think. One of the things we do is we strongly believe, as we believe in Hinduism, that we receive what we ask for. So if we ask for it, yes, it will come to us. And I think in Kerala, like anywhere else, we believe too much in it. So one of the first things when we have Vishu is that the preparation for the celebration starts maybe a month before Vishu. So it is a harvest time, the producers and all will be there. But the first preparation for the children, for the family is, we call it as Vishu Kodi. Kodi means new dresses.
So that's beautiful. That's lovely. So everything stems from a newness. Everything stems from
absolutely. It's a new year.
The old, we're now moving into the new.
Into the new, and we move into the new with all the blessings, all the positivity, right? So that then we can welcome the new year. The whole entire year must be prosperous and auspicious. And like you know, even in Hindi, any language, we say we believe in omen, good omen, bad omen. So if you welcome the new year in a prosperous, auspicious way, you see the best that you can see. And what is the best for us is nothing better than our God. If you see our God in the morning, the day is good, isn't it? So that is what we do. Vishu Kodi will start.
Absolutely. So actually having darshan of the divine reality in the morning, because that then allows you to have focus throughout the day, and also the feeling that you are part of God.
Yes, absolutely. Actually, in Hinduism, we have a shloka, in fact, you know, I think most of them may know about it. But when we wake up in the morning, we have a shloka for everything. We have a shloka for bathing, we have a shloka. So one of the first shlokas we were taught as children in India was, when we wake up, you don't look here and there, don't look at the mirror, don't look at your face. We wake up, look at both our palms put together at the tip of our finger, the middle and the bottom, and we say, Karagre vasate Lakshmi, Kar Madhye Saraswati, Kar Mole to Govindam Prabhate Kar Darshanam. And we do this. What it means, the tip of my fingers recite Lakshmi, Goddess Lakshmi. Kar Madhye, the middle of my palm represents Goddess Saraswati. And the base of my palm represents God Govinda. And Prabhate in the morning, let me only see them as I wake up, first thing. And we do this 3 times. And then only we open our eyes. So why we do that is because we believe that when we do that, and then we look at our God picture or whatever, but even if you don't have, we say this mantra, it represents God, and we believe that today, at least for the whole day, God will take care of us. So in Vishu also, the first thing we do, our Vishu starts at 4 o'clock in the morning. That's called Brahma Muhurtam. And
Yes.
the preparation for that is done one day in advance. So the elders, the mothers, namely the mother, grandmother, the aunties, they prepare something called as Vishu Kani. Kani means in Malayalam the first sight, when we see the first darshan, right? So we prepare the darshan for the god. So we normally keep Lord Krishna statue there, and we can keep all of our other Ganesha and all the other god also, but Krishna especially in Kerala, because one of the reason is that it is a new year, it is a beginning, and we believe Krishna, Vishnu's avatar, is the Lord for birth. Creation. So we have Krishna's statue there, and with Krishna's statue, then we decorate it. We have a few things which must be there. Like, for example, we have a gold and white cloth. The Kerala mundu, we have Kerala saree. That we have made like a frill. We must have a tray with the fresh produce there. Especially, we should have mangoes. We keep jackfruit. We keep our grain, and we also keep yellow fruits. Like we should have golden. That's for prosperity. So we have the yellow cucumber. We call it the Kerala cucumber that we have. And the most important thing that you should have in the Kerala Kani is a flower. It is called Cassia fistula. In Kerala, Malayalam, we call it a Kani Konna. Konna is a beautiful yellow flower that falls like, in clusters in the tree, and that is also depicts Krishna. So we need to keep that as a part of our Kani. And then we put gold jewelry, and we put gold coins, or we put cash. Now why we put all these things is because each of these things depicts prosperity. So we invite the divine, and we invite prosperity into our lives, into the lives of our family. And then the main thing is that the first thing in the morning, 4 o'clock, everybody is given instruction. Nobody wake up before we come to you. Nobody open your eyes. Then the mother in the house will actually close our eyes, whether it is the children, the husband, everybody's eyes, and the mother must bring them straight, and she light the lamps in front of the god. And 4 o'clock in the morning, she'll bring each of us, closed our eyes, we walk and we go, and she'll say, now you can open your eyes. And then thing we look is the Krishna and the statue and all the lights in the dark. That thing makes your day. And we believe from there is going to be only positive. So that is the first thing in Vishu. From there onwards, after we have done that, the children, they are allowed to have fireworks early in the morning. We call it Padakam, Vishu Padakam. Padakam means fireworks. We have the fireworks, then they will have the bath and everything. And next thing that we have in Vishu is also Vishu Kainitam, which we look forward to very much. Kainitam means we also believe that if the gurus or the elderly in the family, if they give us something, like money or gold coin, is going to be very prosperous for us. So if you are even grown up and you are adult, you're running your own business, you expect that somebody lucky must give you Kainitam so that you have prosperity in your business. So we get the Kainitam. All the elders will give us Kainitam. Olden days we used to get coins, gold coins or silver coins. Now we get cash with a single coin as a symbolic. But Kainitam also we get. And the most important thing about the Kerala Vishu is the Kerala Vishu Sadhya. So you would have seen the pictures anywhere. Kerala Sadhya or the Kerala Tea is very important, where we have a full spread on a banana leaf. So in this banana leaf, some of the dishes, as mentioned by the other speakers, is that, the neem flower, because this is the time for change of season. So it can bring about cold or flu or something. So neem being a blood purifier, it is very important to include that in your diet. So one of the dishes that we have is, we call it Vepimpu rasam, means the flowers of the neem tree that is collected, and you make a rasam with it, or you make a chutney with it, with jaggery and all, to depict all the flavors of life. But the main sadhya has like rice and dal, and you have some sweet meats, you have banana chips, which is a typical Kerala item, then manga pachadi, the mango with jaggery. So the food is so beautiful and spread, and in the end of it, top it all, we have the famous Kerala payasam.
Wow, that's divine.
Yes, payasam is the Kerala kheer. So we have 2 or 3 different varieties of payasam on Vishu. Then that finishes our the end of our feast. And so the whole day we have Vishu till the evening. We have celebrations. We have we have singing and dancing, and of course we pray to the God. This is how Vishu we celebrate in Kerala. And
that's so wonderful to hear, and also the detail in terms of the preparation of the food, in terms of the preparation of the prayer, because it's actually how every Hindu should be in their homes. And we sometimes forget that even when we wake up from sleep and we put our feet on the ground, we are supposed to pray to Mother Earth and ask for her forgiveness. Standing on the ground. And I think everything is related to nature, as you say, because nature is a part of us and we are part of nature. And, everything is interconnected. So the sense of interconnection becomes important in the way we handle ourselves. And I think, thank you so much for that. And being an Ayurvedic specialist, you also know that the balance of the taste of food become important to balance our dosha.
Yeah, our doshas. So it is a combination, it's a balance of your body and your mind. And naturally, the mind involves the emotions. So the positivity in the mind, you actually with the diet and other things, you improve it. You actually make your mind positive. You get the mind, like the body gets healthy, you get the mind to produce positive hormones, positive chemicals. So that is all about Vishu. And during the Vishu also, we get all the forecast for the whole year. The astrologers will give us the forecast for each of our Rashi, that this is what's going to happen to our Rashis, So that is all about Vishu. Yeah, so it is a very, very exciting thing.
It's beautiful, it's exciting, and it brings all the families together and the community together. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. I have to move on now because of our time, but we're now going to a different part of India, and that is in Tamil Nadu. And we're going to meet Guruji. Guruji is actually in Benoni. He's the Pandit there in the Benoni Hindu temple. But Guruji, we've just celebrated yesterday Tamil New Year. Can you share with us the beauty and the meaning of Tamil New Year?
Vanakkam. So, Tamil New Year is Varasha Pirappu, which is Puthandu. It is the birth of the new year, right? The Tamil word is Puthandu, so it is the beginning of the new year. So as you know, the years have different names associated with it according to the lunar and the solar calendars. This year is called Pilava Varasham, which is the year of wisdom and knowledge. So this Tamil year, or this year in the calendar, is called Pilava Varasham. It is the year of wisdom and knowledge.
Excellent. So if it's the year of knowledge, I think we all have had a need to have more knowledge after we are experiencing this COVID-19 vaccine. And it has put the country and even the world at such a level where we have to now focus upon our inner transformation. Guru, do you think that festivals like New Year or Puthandu allows us to introspect on who we are and how we need to take forward a new energy and a new balance coming from the past of dis-ease, of anger, of frustration as we go forward?
Well, it gives a person or people an opportunity to start off the new year by doing all religious aspects in terms of prayers, etc., etc. So we have learned from the past and what the past years have done, and then we will go forward in the new year to perform all good deeds and leave the old things behind and start afresh.
Absolutely. I think that's so well said and very practical, Guru. During this time, we know in Tamil Nadu, they've celebrate with different kinds of foods and pujas as well. But has that been carried through to South Africa? And what has been some of the changes here? Because not many people, recently, Tamil New Year has become very popular. Hindi New Year, very little. Ugadi, as Tamran said, only in recent times. we've tried to create a mainstay of making sure that this day is celebrated. But Tamil New Year has been celebrated for a while in the country. But what has been some of the changes?
Well, firstly, we have to thank our forefathers who have come from India. So just to put it out there, I am a local South African who was born in South Africa and studied the Vedas and Agamas via my guru, who he is in South Africa as well. He's from Sri Lanka. He's been in the country for the past 35 years or so, and I've been studying under him. And the New Year, Tamil New Year, has been celebrated quite some time in South Africa, but it varies in terms of how people do it in different homes according to their caste, etc., etc. But a lot of things are very, very similar to what Cameron has mentioned in the Ugadi celebrations. Like she did mention also that Tamil and Telugu is very, very much similar in how they celebrate the New Year. So I started off by saying we'd like to thank our forefathers because they have brought us through this journey. And most of the Hindu or Tamil speaking people, they still follow this by doing some pujas, etc. So I've introduced something which is very new to the Gauteng community. It's called Maranthanir. It is a special water that you should bath with on the morning of Tamil New Year. So this is prepared the night before, and it is boiled on the morning of Tamil New Year. It is called Maranthanir. It also comes a little bit from Ayurvedic practices because it has all natural spices and leaves and herbs and things like that. So we should add all of these items to a pot, bring it to a boil in the morning, and bath with this on the first day of the new year. There are also something like what the other speaker just spoke about, where as soon as you open your eyes, you look at all types of auspicious items, which is also performed in the Tamil community, but it is not mentioned to everybody. Not a lot of people know about these things. And me, in this part of the community, I'm introducing all these type of things because knowledge is something that you can access every day. You should take the initiative to access it. So it's my duty to make all of this information available. So I will bring in the youth as well as encourage them and educate the youth and the larger community as well about the Tamil New Year celebrations.
Absolutely, Guru. Thank you so much. I think it would be wonderful if you can share the ingredients for the ritual bath to everyone, and we'd like to actually put it out on our Facebook pages. I'm sure Dharma Samvad will be very intrigued, and I think they will definitely put it out. I will do the same. There's different organizations here that would definitely would like to share it. I think it's important to bring the youth together to understand where their culture and customs come from, and also the scientific meaning behind it, because it isn't just about celebration. There are deeper meanings to it. We've just learned how the 7 tastes, need to be balanced when you're having your pachadi, for example, and also different kinds of foods that you have.
It's very much similar with the Tamil New Year as well. We also perform the Manga Pachadi, which Tamaran already mentioned. She beat me to it. So Manga Pachadi consists of raw mango, jaggery, which is vellam, and neem. So these 3 items being sour, sweet, and bitter, the inner significance of this is to indicate that life has a mixture of good, bad, joy, sorrow, success, failure, and disappointment. So all of these 3 things put together, we have to treat life equally. Come good, come bad, come everything. This is the inner significance of the Pachadi in the Tamil household.
Very true. I think it's about approaching life with equanimity of mind.
Yes.
And each time it's any situation that will come before us, what the measurement is how we respond to it. I think that becomes important. But thank you so much. And foods guide one in that direction. Thank you, Guruji. Would you like to share a little message before I go to my next guest?
So I am here mainly to encourage the youth, and I do see a lot of youngsters which are on the program. So it's arise, awake, and not stop until the goal is reached. Spirituality is available. Take advantage of the resources of Hinduism. Do good, be good, practice Satya, Dharma, Ahimsa, Prema, and Shanti, and you shall attain moksha, which is very important in this Kali Yuga.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much, Guruji. Vanakkam.
Vanakkam.
Up next, we travel from the south right up to the north, and that's in Gujarat. And we have Reina Bika, who is here with us today. And she's going to share with us a little bit on Chaitra Navaratri. So it's about looking at the Divine Mother, honoring the Mother during this time. So even though Gujarati New Year is not celebrated during this time according to the Vikram Samvat, where it's done closer to Diwali, but it's still a space of new beginnings, and it's still a space of acknowledging and removing the old and journeying into the new. So Reina ji, welcome. She's from a group called Garba Gangsters, a very, very enthusiastic group of young people who have learned and journeyed through their own spirituality to use creative arts in order to share the knowledge with the rest of the youth. And these are beyond, younger than millennial, they Generation Z. And they have been tapping into the rich source of our Hindu Dharma, and they've been able to do that through dance, music, presentations, etc. And today she's going to share with us a little bit about Navaratri. Welcome to the show.
Namaste, Yashika-ben, and namaste to everyone. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity for having me on this platform. And I think it has been such a wonderful session that we have had, listening to everybody and from the various different cultures and how they celebrate each festival and each culture. I think it gives you immense happiness that there are people out there that are experiencing and celebrating this divine festival, and that always just gives you so much of happiness. So I once again say thank you to everyone for sharing their wisdom and knowledge on these different festivals. So speaking from a youth perspective and a representative of an organization called Garba Gangsters, we are there to spread awareness of our rich culture, our rich Hindu culture, the rhythm, the love, the compassion that is in society and the community, to reach out to the youth and make it a fun way or a more appropriate way to celebrate our festivals or our culture actually. And during this period is such an auspicious period where so many different cultures are celebrating festivals. And on a Gujarati perspective, we are celebrating Chaitra Navratri. This is the month of Chaitra as per the lunar calendar in terms of Gujarati. And this is the month of Chaitra, whereby we celebrate Chaitra Navratri, and Navratri meaning 9 nights. So this is a time where we dedicate these 9 days to the Divine Mother. And like you said, Yashika-ben, that this is a new beginning. It is a time that we can, raise our consciousness and peak and tap into the peak of energies, and that's going to just give us ultimate blessings. So yeah, there we go. It's an auspicious time of Chaitra Navratri.
Thank you so much. You've got behind you a beautiful selection of foods that's offered to the Divine Mother. We've just learned earlier on that we pay obeisances to her because she is nature, she is the divine principle, and she comes in different forms during this time. What are some of the offerings that you have behind you that you were going to offer to the Divine Mother?
Yes. So during the time, so what I have behind me is called a stapna, or a setup that we dedicate to the Divine Mother. So behind me in the center is a coconut actually that we have invoked the Mother Goddess within. And the coconut is on top a copper pot. So each of these items symbolize a different thing. For example, the coconut itself is a representation of the mother goddess. Inside the coconut, we know that the coconut is white. That represents purity. And that's the point that we want to reach. We want to reach purity with praying to the Divine Mother. That's the point we want to reach. The coconut being placed on a copper pot. The copper pot is a symbolization of earth, actually, because copper itself is a good conductor of energy, and that represents earth. Inside the copper pot, we have water, and that represents the water element, and also, once again, purity. We can also we can use it as a way to symbolize that our bodies are mainly made up of water, mainly about 70% of water. And with knowing the fact scientifically that water has the power of memory. So whatever we chant, the mantras that we chant, they give off positive vibrations. And those positive vibrations are going to penetrate the water. The water is going to have the memory of this positivity, of this positive vibrations. And once we pray to this sthapna or to the setup, we are trying to invoke the same purity and the same positive vibration within our own bodies. So that is the sthapna, the main setup that is behind me. Then another thing that we mainly offer, this is wheat seeds that have been grown. So this is mainly symbolizing growth and germination. And with growth and germination, that's what we want to achieve in life, is that we want to grow. We want to grow and reach the point of higher consciousness, of purity. And we plant these seeds on the first day of Navratri, and we let them grow till the last day of Navratri, where during this period, they grow, they germinate, and they become long shoots. And this is to symbolize that during this period, it's such an auspicious period. With praying and chanting mantras, we then also grow and we reach that point, that high peak of energy, and our consciousness raises. The way that this starts at the bottom, and our consciousness also starts at the bottom, and during the days, as this grows, our consciousness also rises. So that's one main thing that we have to do. And then we also, we light a lamp in front of the sthapna, and that is just also like illuminating our life, the path that we are on, the journey of life, removing the darkness and just bringing light into our life. So we keep a divo, or we light a lamp, and then we offer prasad. So that is like, it can be a selection of fruit or some sweetmeats if you like, but that is just a offering, as a token of offering. And another thing, that during Chaitra Navratri, it is quite beneficial to do a fast. So different people do different types of fast. Some people do like a fruit fast, or they do one meal a day. But the main thing is that it must be like a detox for your body, whereby you're nourishing your body when chanting, when praying, and you're nourishing your body physically and mentally. So mentally with the prayer, and physically with having healthy, fresh fruit and vegetables, and abstaining from any bad habits, that type of thing. So during these 9 periods, it is always beneficial to do some sort of fast. And I think it's up to the individual on what type of fast that you would like to do, but it's in the honor of the Divine Mother at the end of the day, with a true intention.
Absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. And more importantly, to showcase to everyone at home that whether it's the new norm or not, we still continue with our prayer of acknowledging the Divine Mother and the divine energy principle. I think it's really, really lovely. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. We've come to the tail end of the program, and we now move to a little music video that has been shared with us by Anita Ji from Kenya. And it's a beautiful video that, obviously is going to share the meaning in Sanskrit of the new year. So we've traveled today. We've traveled from east, west, north, and south of Bharat. And it shows that where the Hindus have gathered in the diaspora, they've carried with them over their backs through hard work and strife, the culture and the value systems and the Sanskriti of Bharat Mata herself. So thank you everyone for being with me today, for sharing this wonderful space and for inspiring the next few generations that will come. And with leaders like you, I'm sure Hinduism will go a long way. Thank you everyone, and thank you Tech, and thank you Panditji for your blessings and support during this program. So I leave you now with the beautiful video that was composed by Swami Tejomayananda from the Chinmaya Mission, and it's in Sanskrit, and wishing everyone a Happy New Year. Nav Varsh ki hardik shubhkamanaya.
क्षणं प्रतिक्षणं यन्नवं नवं क्षणं प्रतिक्षणं यन्नवं नवं तच्च सुन्दरं सच्च तच्छिवं तच्च सुन्दरं सच्च तच्छिवं वर्षनूतनं ते शुभं मुदं वर्षनूतनं ते शुभं मुदम् उत्तरोत्तरं भवतु सिद्धिदम् उत्तरोत्तरं भवतु सिद्धिदम् क्षणं प्रतिक्षणं यन्नवं नवं क्षणं प्रतिक्षणं यन्नवं नवं तच्च सुन्दरं सच्च तच्छिवं तच्च सुन्दरं सच्च तच्छिवं वर्षनूतनं ते शुभं मुदं वर्षनूतनं ते शुभं मुदम् उत्तरोत्तरं भवतु सिद्धिदम् उत्तरोत्तरं भवतु सिद्धिदम् क्षणं प्रतिक्षणं यन्नवं नवं क्षणं प्रतिक्षणं